What are you doing? Are you looking at this massive pile of junk? This is what the basement of a YouTuber looks like. At least my Hot Wheels look good.
To be fair, most of that stuff is just cardboard. There's not a lot of actual trucks over there. And I'm also packing up a bunch of stuff for a swap meet that I'm going to this weekend. So it's not like there's just a whole bunch of RC stuff out there that my wife should be worried about. Welcome back to the Skill Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 89 of What's on the Bench Weekly. If you're not familiar with this show or you're new here, thank you for checking out the channel. I do a ton of reviews. I never do unboxings. Those are horrible. And I also share a lot of projects that I'm working on, and that's what What's on the Bench is all about. I share projects that I'm working on. And now that I've realized there's less than 2 months before I'm supposed to be in Colorado for the WeRC Rock competition, I should probably put all my other projects to the side and focus on the 2 trucks that I'm building for that competition. There's a whole set of rules. I will link down below to the Facebook page where all of the information can be had. The guys who are putting it on are fantastic dudes, very scale accurate stuff, and they're really pushing for that accuracy in the builds this year. These are not Sorka rules. These are buggy, cage, tube, real metal stuff competition buggies, and sort of putting me outside of my comfort zone in terms of the fabricating, but also putting me in my comfort zone for the amount of scale accuracy and fun that I'll be having building these things. And here's the first one on the bench right now. This is a Brazen C1 Pro Leafer chassis, which is a little bit different from all the rest. This one is steel because I'll be welding directly to it. That's the hope anyway. I have to figure out where batteries are going to go. I have to decide on the cage design, but essentially what I'm building is a F-toy. And we talked a little bit about this last week. This is the actual mock-up of the chassis now, as you can see. These are not the axles I'll be using. These are Curries that I also built for a leaf sprung truck. But the center pumpkin isn't going to work. I need a front offset axle. I've got F10Ts on the way, so there's going to be a lot of changes in that regard. But as you can see, there's now a motor. This is the scale designed by Mr. Comedy Vanquish VS410 motor that he designed for the original VS410. Which works perfectly here. It's actually it works actually perfectly. I'll mount that properly in much later stages, but the next step is to start designing the actual F-toy cage, which I've started doing, but work is busy, so I have to sort of temper my personal expectations with my work expectations, and work always takes priority. But this is going to be a lot of work as well. But as you can see, a VFD transmission in the center does give you that sort of, forward motor mount. Should be plenty of room for the drive shaft and the axle, and everything's working there. Nice leaf sprung suspension for realism and accuracy. F-toys were basically built on Hilux chassis. Spec class of racing from a billion years ago. Back when Marlin Crawler was still alive. Anyway, yes, this is the progress so far. I will be using F10Ts, like I said. I do need to get, I've already ordered the proper leaf spring mounts from JEC Racing for those F10Ts. Those should be here very shortly. And it's off to the races. I am going to be using the same technique that Josh used with his buggy design, which should be here in a couple of days. To use Send Cut Send as sort of like some of the template pieces, like for all the panels and such, rather than trying to braze on nuts, which is hard work. I'm just going to make a bunch of actual templates in Fusion 360, send them to Send Cut Send. They'll send them back to me, and then we'll use those to mount all the panels and kind of keep everything square. So I have to build those first before I actually do any of the actual cage work. So many things, and not much time to do them in. One of the unique parts of this comp is that there is no winching off of objects. The only winching you'll be doing is sucking down the axle. I should add that part. Yes, but sucking down the axle is allowed. Winching off of objects is not. I still have a winch in there. It's the 300 IS comp spec from Reefs, and that's going to be used to help suck down this axle. Thusly, to give you, I don't know, a lower center of gravity when you're trying to climb over an obstacle. That's the idea anyway. But I'm so excited about this build. It's been a little while. I have built an F-Toy in the past. I think this is going to be a really great chassis to do it. It also is a nice chassis for hiding everything too. I mean, we'll be able to put a shifter there and probably seats. It's going to be a proper scaled truck. Hopefully soon. All right. Oh yes. I almost forgot. This is the wheel and tire combo that I decided to go with. The Yokohama Geolander from Vanquish Products. It's got a dual stage foam in there. I am using a Method beadlock, and attached to that is the Shoddy RC SBG branded beadlock rings, and they are so cool. I am very, very, very pleased with those. Colton did an amazing job, and I'm so happy to show those off and be using these on these build. I think it's going to look sick as. I've got some other cool things in the works that are really going to set this one off. I cannot wait to share those things with you. That will probably be, maybe, I don't know. Here's a question for you. Should we do a standalone build series on these buggies instead of featuring them on What's on the Bench, or keep them on What's on the Bench? Road to Colorado 2? Electric Boogaloo? Put a comment down below. You know I love reading through your feedback, and I try to answer as many of those as I can. Of course, if you're enjoying this video, you're new here, maybe subscribe, because I'm so close to 100,000. All right, on to the next thing. I swear I smell burned motor. Speaking of paint, here's a cute little guy that I did. This is the Furitech Fury Wagon, but this is not the Fury Wagon body. This is a body from Vicious RC, and Carrie sent this to me a little while ago, and I said, I'll get to it, but I have to reset the Lexan counter before I build it. But it is it's sort of an MJ-inspired truck, and it's a really unique looking body, and it fits the Fury Wagon quite well. There's a lot of 3D printed extra bits to make it a little more scale accurate, which is nice. I almost forgot, the packaging is incredible. Everything is taped to these panels. These are taped to the actual shells of the body. And look at the detailed instructions. Look at that. Fantastic. Absolutely incredible stuff. This is the sort of thing that separates manufacturers from each other. Having this kind of detail is fantastic. And I decided to do a fun style paint job. You may have seen this on the Instagram stories. This is all from dish soap. That's how this happens. This is how this works. Let me try to break it down for you. The first thing you do, obviously, is trim and wash the body. That's probably your first step. Wash it with some dish soap, actually. And then once that's done and it's dried out, conservatively kind of dribble it inside of the chassis, inside the body, before you've done any paint work at all. And let it set for a few seconds. Because of the viscosity of dish soap, it tends to stay where you put it, at least for a little while, as you can see. Lots of splotches and splatters, and that's the whole kind of deal with this, is to make it that pattern, random. And then once you've put in your dish soap, lay down your base color. For me, it was just black. I used the On Point paint. Maybe it was Traxxas. And you end up with sort of the negative, or the relief of where all of that dish soap is. You literally, once that black paint is dried, bring it inside and wash it out. It's already got dish soap in it. It's going to be clean. And then you go ahead and apply your next set of colors. And I used fluorescent pink, fluorescent purple, a metallic blue, and a dark blue somewhere. And I think it turned out pretty cool. It's a very unique looking paint job. And I found the perfect bumper sticker for it. Absolutely spectacular. I think it's a really cool looking little truck now, and it definitely is a lot more unique. Vicious RC also includes this whole 3D printed roll cage. It is in multiple pieces and requires a fair bit of shoe goo in order to stay together. I would recommend, if you are going to run this truck, I would maybe use a flexible CA as well, but chances are in a rollover this will break. I mentioned this to Kerry. He's going to look at a different way of putting it together, so maybe there'll be a future revision on the next set of bodies. But if you're interested, I will put a link down below where you can contact him. It does include light buckets front and rear, which is pretty cool. I didn't install them on the rear because I don't have enough lights for that, but I did use the existing Fury Wagon lights from the Furitech truck that used to be on the roll bar, and added them as headlights and fog lights. And I think it looks pretty darn cool. It's a super easy paint technique. There's nothing to it. Anybody can do this one. It's super easy. Just work quickly. And don't lay on too much paint. I think that's probably the best advice I can give you is light coats are best, especially with your base coat. Anyway, there you go. My thanks to Vicious RC and Kerry for sending me this body. It is very cool, and I highly recommend you checking them out because it is an alternative. And it's pretty unique. Never seen anything quite like that. All right, on to the next thing. For a guy that doesn't like mini trucks, I sure have a lot of them. And finally today on this, was I wearing my glasses? And finally on this episode of What's on the Bench, here is my TRX4M Bronco. And you can see, these are aftermarket plastic beadlocks. Very nice looking wheel. They are Method branded. But now Traxxas is also offering aluminum beadlocks, and these look just as good or better. And the fact that they're aluminum means that they can be better. Aluminum makes things better. Here's what they look like when you get them in the package. As you can see, these are a brushed aluminum. I think that looks pretty nice, but the black looked way better in my opinion on this truck. And they are super easy to assemble and put on, as I'm going to show you right now. They do come with an inner ring right there, yes. And they come with, let me get this other one out of here. They ship with a plastic inner ring, and here's the outside portion as well. Really nice machine work. Installation could not be simpler. Just 6 bolts on the back, and they include the right bolts, which they should, but they've already got a little bit of thread lock embedded in the actual bolt, and that makes for an easy, no muss, no fuss installation, and they look fantastic. So definitely a nice upgrade. You can use the plastic rings that are included, or you can use the brass upgrade rings, because I'm making this a TRX 4000M, just like Josh's heavier one as well. And there you go, super easy installation. These look great. Like I said, they come in the black and the brushed aluminum as well. So if you are interested in either of those, I will put a link down below where you can pick them up for yourself. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, we'll see you again next week.